Hello, I am Vicky Manitou Okas and welcome. I am glad you could join me today. Uh, I am doing a really fun project for the next workshop in Delectable Tiny Gardens. I am just starting up my personal apartment-sized worm composting system. I have done worm composting before. The last time I did a worm compost, it was on a farm scale for my greenhouse operation, but this time I am setting it up in very small scale. So I went and got my worms on a warm day this week and put them in a holding container to get them ready for the workshop to show how to set up a small scale worm composting system that was developed by Christina Hansen, and this is the system that I am using for the small scale. And so we're going to do this. And hey, it is about 2 weeks out, and I am getting the tote ready for the worm bed for the worm composting class that I am hosting in Delectable Tiny Gardens on February 21st. So first thing to do is this is a old milk crate. This one has solid sides, so that's good, but it has the open bottom. So the first thing I have to do is glue a screen into the bottom here so that the worms and the compost stay in the tote. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit because this was used in the garden last summer. Just clean it up enough for the glue to stick. And I am using a polymer glue, so I want the glue to thoroughly cure before I put the worms in here. So I want it to cure for about 2 weeks before I put worms in. So I'm going to set this on the screening material, okay, and cut the screen to size for the crate. Okay, so there's the window screen cut, and that should fit right down in there. Okay, I'm going to cut the corners. Just cut the corners in a diagonal, push that in, okay, now that fits nicely into the crate. You can use a plastic tub, which would probably be better. You drill holes in the bottom of it, and holes in the lid. This already has drainage holes or vent holes in the sides for whatever this was used for before. So that screen fits in there very nicely. Now I'm going to use the polymer glue. Just a standard polymer glue, E6000 or Goop, and I am going to run this around the edge of the screen. Like I said, this has got chemicals in it that if it's not thoroughly cured will be damaging to the worms. So I'm doing this 2 weeks ahead of time to get this ready. give it time for the glue to cure. And the chemicals to dissipate. Okay, so that's got a bead of glue right through there. Take and push the screening into that glue. Make sure the glue goes all the way around. Okay, and just do that all the way around. Oh, and there, I missed the edge of the screen, so I'm just going to put it on top. And then work that into the screen. So if you miss a spot, just put it on top of the screen and work it through the screen. There you go. It likes to stick to fingers. There it is. Okay, one more side. Okay, you could use, probably could use a hot glue gun, but I've never been happy with how the hot glue gun sticks, so it depends on your hot glue. Whereas a polymer sticks to just about everything, but you do have to make sure that it gets fully cured. Okay, now I'm going to go through and make sure that there's glue in all of it. Okay, check it to make sure that that's all the way down on the tote. It takes a few minutes for this to cure. It takes a few minutes for this to set up, and it takes about 48 hours to cure and about 2 weeks to outgas. And there it is. That is ready to sit and cure so that it'll be safe for the worms. All right, we'll pick this up at the next step. All right, we are a week out from the Worm Composting Workshop at Delectable Tiny Gardens, and I am getting the bedding ready for the class, for the workshop. And one of the things that I'm using is the egg cartons, just the paper egg cartons. The dozen of eggs come from in the store, and I'm just using scissors. I don't have a shredder or a suitable I do not have a shredder or a suitable blender or food processor to chop this up with, so I'm just going to cut it up with scissors, fairly small. You can tear it. The smaller the pieces are, the happier the worms are going to be. You can rip it, but I'm getting smaller pieces fairly quickly by just cutting it. Just a good sharp pair of utility scissors. And those rip apart very easily. So the smaller the pieces are, the faster the worms are going to convert that to fertilizer, compost. So you can use, I use newspaper, I use brown paper, cardboard, brown cardboard, the paper egg cartons, toilet paper rolls, and I will cut up enough of this over the next couple of days to fill my container, about 3 to 5 inches deep. And get this all ready for the worms on February 21st, Saturday, 2026 at 2 p.m. Eastern at Delectable Tiny Gardens. And hopefully we will see you there. All right, I'm going to finish cutting that up, and I'll have that all ready for the worms on the 21st. All right, thank you.